Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to give a couple seconds for everybody to filter in. I apologize for the delay. We've got a very high-tech, complicated setup here, and we want to make sure it's perfect. So while we're getting the slides in play, I'll introduce everybody. I'm Brad Kugler, the CEO and co-founder of DirectMail2.0. To my right here is Adam Steele. He is the VP Operations of DirectMail2.0.
Brad, excuse me. Let's get your mic closer to your mouth.
Okay.
Very
Sorry, guys.
sensitive.
Hopefully you can hear me. Is that better?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there's Mrs. Morgan. Obviously, you know her, our Chief Revenue Officer of Direct Mail 2.0. And my longtime friend here, Manuel Suarez of the AGM Agency. And he has a great, interesting story to tell and is probably one of the most interesting marketers I've ever met. And so we wanted him to join us here and sort of give his story and kind of complement what we're talking about, and heck, maybe even correct us if we're off the mark. So we don't tend to know everything. We know a lot, but if we bring in someone from another industry who can either validate or correct us, I'm all for it. So I'm really excited to get this going, and hopefully we have the slide deck ready to go. If not, I will let Manuel give us a little background on himself before we get going. So Manuel, thank you again for having us, and happy to be here.
Brad, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure. It's exciting to have you guys here in my place. I'm super happy to be able to host this for you guys. I'm a big fan of what you guys have going on. And again, we're marketers living in similar worlds. We got a lot of people in the room here, so that's exciting. You said that first thing to correct you if something is, we can all have wrong things. You need to get that mic next to your mouth, like that. Let's start there.
I'm seeing it on there on the chat, so I apologize.
We're gonna start there. These are very sensitive microphones.
They gotta be right there.
Yeah.
Right.
So you know how when you look at an iPhone, they are known to be omnidirectional, and they capture the entire room.
Yep.
This is meant to capture your mouth right here.
I appreciate that. I'm seeing the chat blow up right now with my low level.
Everybody wants to hear your incredible radio voice, man. You gotta make sure that you get close to it. Now you guys know, all right?
I did some studying for mostly audio, but also visual in college. So being in this room, I'm kind of geeking out a little bit. So
yeah,
it's a pretty cool experience. Thank you for having us.
Always getting better, man. It never ends. I can tell you, you guys see the big wide green screen on the back over here. That's not how it started. I had a $20 Amazon green bed sheet on the first course I ever did, and it sold millions of dollars. So you got to start somewhere. That's just the way it goes, right? You got to one step at a time. Evolution, right?
We are still seeing in the chat, there's a few people saying that the audio levels are low still. I don't know if I'm close enough, but if anybody's still having audio problems, can you just put it in the chat just to make sure we've got everything technically correct? Okay, we've got it sounds good. I can hear you. It goes in and out. Audio is better here. Okay, I think
everybody seems to be okay with it.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right. I will keep my mouth shut now.
Yeah, we're good. So, Jimmy, how are we doing with the slides over there?
All right, so I've got your slides ready. But however, when we cut to the slides, just let me know when you're ready to move forward.
I see the slides. I see them. Everybody's seeing them too. That's good.
Yeah.
So we're going to use the slides throughout the presentation. Morgan, this is going to be... you're going to run the show with the slides?
Yeah, I'm going to speak to a lot of the content in the slides, and Adam's going to come in, and then we've got your 9 steps to marketing success that I'm really looking forward to.
Great.
Yeah. So today's topic, we're going to talk about avoiding advertising blunders with creative that converts. So we've got a jam-packed session for you that's centered on good marketing strategy and mainly on creative and content. So how do I move the slides?
He's going to move them.
Question.
Let me know when you're ready.
All right, next slide, please. So we talked a little bit about our webinar presenters today, so let's go ahead and get into the content that everybody's waiting for. So the first thing that we're going to talk about are some of the biggest advertising blunders of all time. So next slide. So I don't know if anybody remembers this one. This is probably a little bit before my time. Brad, do you remember this big Coke advertising blunder?
Thanks for pointing out my age.
Oh, yes.
I lived it. In 1984, when they came out with new Coke. I was there.
I was wondering. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm a Coke gal. What about you guys? Coke or Pepsi?
Definitely Coke.
No
Coke.
sodas for me.
No soda. Well, I don't really drink soda.
Water,
either.
sparkling water.
Sure.
That's
I'll
my drink.
keep it all healthy and natural, right? But if I did, splurge and have a soda, it would definitely be Coke. But
I did use my fair share of Coke in my life. I think I met my quota in my life, and I'm done with it for now.
right, I don't blame you. Yeah, all natural and healthy these days.
That's right.
Yeah, that's the way to go. So
I was going to make a comment, but I'll keep it to
Go
myself.
make the comment, Brad. Go.
Yeah.
We're talking about the soda, right?
I don't think he was. So
Well, a lot of things actually. A lot
Okay.
of things.
All right.
I met my quota for a lot of things.
All right.
Coke was one of those.
well, Coke was a very predominant soft drink, and Pepsi started coming out with some pretty aggressive marketing. And some of that I even do remember in my time in space, the taste testing, the blindfolded taste testing, and they were starting to lose some market share. And so they thought, oh my gosh, we need to make Coke sweeter, and we need to revamp our formula. And they came out with the new Coke. Well, it was a huge disaster because nobody wanted new Coke. All of their customers liked the old Coke. In fact, people started hoarding the old bottles of the Coke and selling them at exorbitant prices. It was a huge marketing catastrophe. And I think now we're all familiar with the Coca-Cola Classic as they went back to their original marketing.
Well, you don't know the story before that. So in grocery stores all over, they were doing the Pepsi challenge where they would taste test blind like little 4-ounce cups of Coke to Pepsi, and Pepsi was killing Coke, and they were putting this on TV all over the place. And so then the Coke people are like, well, we need to make our drink taste a little more like Pepsi, make it sweeter. It was a little less fizzy. And so they were trying to duplicate that so they weren't getting creamed in the taste testing. That was the origin story for this new formula.
Sure, but it failed epically.
Miserably.
Yeah. Next slide.
What was the lesson on that? Like they try to change a formula that was working.
That was
already.
working for 100 years.
Right.
And, okay, so they're getting beat by this little marketing action that Pepsi was doing, but it really wasn't affecting their sales that much. They were concerned about it more than it was really affecting it,
Correct.
But in the end, the joke was on us because they brought out a new formula and they started selling more of both. So the original Coke sold more and the new Coke added a new portion of the market. So where it was a disaster, some people go, well, maybe they were dumb like the fox. They knew exactly what was going to happen. They got all this national attention, all this free media from this blunder, quote unquote, and they increased their sales by 20% by doing this.
Sure.
And here's something that I can add to it. It's not just an advertising blunder. This is a business blunder overall. Because when you have something that works, you want to go deep in that thing that works. You want to add some other products. You want to create variations. You want to expand your services. You want to do all those other things. Great. But don't change the one thing that took you to where you are at. And I see a lot of people making those mistakes endlessly. I would say you got to figure out a formula. And actually, I went to, a lot of you guys know this guy called Grant Cardone. He's a big business guy. We went to a very special event a couple of weeks ago, and he talked about the formula for something like this, right? He said, when you have something that works and produces money for you, 95% of your time should be dedicated to doing more of it. 4% of your time should be dedicated to finding new offers, new products, expansion, and doing all those things. And maybe 1% should be attention on accounting and other things.
Don't change what works.
Don't change what works.
Or do good market research. Don't just get fearful because you have a new competitor on the scene, and don't get fearful because you have a new competitor on the scene and think that you need to change everything to mimic what this competitor's doing. Do your market research. Does your existing audience want you to change anything? They could have done a little bit more market research before plunging in and making such a huge business decision like that.
That's right.
So,
Cost them a lot of money.
yeah. Next slide.
Yes.
All right, Gap's logo redesign. So
Now, the slides are not on screen. Somebody has mentioned.
They are on the screen.
They are?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We're here on the same call on our side.
Oh, they are now. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think maybe when we start conversating, the slides potentially are coming off the
Yeah, they're
screen.
coming in and out.
Got it. Okay.
Our producer is adjusting as we talk and just zooms in on us sometimes. And
All right. I'm
makes
not
us look
listening to these
prettier.
guys anymore.
Yeah,
when
yeah,
they
yeah.
complain. Take
So
it.
the next advertising blunder is a logo redesign by Gap. They wanted to change from modern classic to this sexy cool. And a lot of times I say that you will be sick of your branding long before your audience is. You know, you've spent a ton of resources, a ton of time building and establishing this brand and this relationship with your customers. Now, all of a sudden, you want to tap into, you know, maybe a different type of audience, but you can't cannibalize what works so well, like Manuel was saying, in your existing audience. And it was a complete nightmare. Somebody even did a satirical Twitter feed mimicking it, and they ended up going back to the old Gap logo. So it just wasn't received well at all.
Don't make drastic changes like that.
Sure. Right. I mean, think about the Gap brand anyway. Is it sexy, cool? No, it
was
is
never meant to be.
modern and classic. You know, so
Well,
what
Gap's
exactly
not cool
were you
anymore,
trying to?
is it?
I mean, was it ever cool?
Yeah, it actually was for a few years.
It's got a
There was
certain
Is
vibe.
it cool again?
No, it's
It's
not.
the opposite of cool.
It's not cool anymore.
Right now. No, honestly, I saw a movie the other day called, it is the Ryan Gosling movie of Crazy Stupid Love.
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
And he was trying to get Steve Carell to become cool. All right. I don't know if you guys saw that movie. It's actually
Yeah,
a really cute movie. All right.
It is good.
And there's a moment in which he's trying to get this guy dressed
Oh, it's
like properly.
hilarious.
And he says to him, don't be the Gap, be more than the Gap. Because Steve Carell is thinking about going to Gap, right? So that's probably terrible marketing for poor guys, right? Like anybody that's watching that video will not go to shop to Gap anymore. But it's changed quite a bit. For sure.
But to each his own, right? So they have a following, and they should have stuck with what was working for them. And there's a way that you can tap into other audiences without completely rebranding yourself. So next slide, please. Okay. This is a Burger King Women's Day tweet. Now, I have to say that I'm not usually one to get ultra sensitive to kinds of comments, but this one kind of does invoke a pitchfork and torch mentality for me. They posted a tweet that said women belong in the kitchen. And what they were trying to do was raise money for putting more women in the culinary arts field.
Burger King posted this tweet?
They posted this tweet, women belong in the kitchen. Now listen, text has no tone. Maybe they meant women belong in the kitchen, you know, but to me, you know, women belong in the kitchen is an extremely demeaning thing. Like, excuse me, come again, women belong in the kitchen.
The sad part about that is that probably got approved by at least 15 to 20 executives.
Well, this is the thing, you know, and then they posted a machine gun tweet, like right under it, if they want to be, I mean, and we're trying to help more women get into the culinary arts field. But I mean, I don't think I have to say very much to really establish that that was a very bad choice of words. You know?
I think they possibly, it's not possible that a lot of people approved that. I would imagine a lot of people got fired.
Yeah.
Because they allowed that
Absolutely.
thing to be approved. Because even though the message probably was intended to be different, it's something so obvious that you can't, especially in this time and place that we live in right now.
Yeah, you can't. And the other thing I thought of too is, you know, maybe they were trying to be clever. And the thing about that is you cannot utilize something like that and take a risk like that, because your audience perception is your reality. And that is something that can just crush you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not worth the risk at all. So next slide, please. So this one is BlackBerry. They were unveiling a new smartphone, and they tweeted a picture, but unfortunately, they tweeted the image with an iPhone. So the devil's in the details.
They did this. Advertising blunders. I'm hoping that anybody here on this call has not made something so dramatically stupid as this.
I think we've all made them, but not. We're small companies.
No.
Yeah.
Are you talking about yourself, Brad? I haven't
Made any
made a
mistakes?
picture of another agency promoting my
No,
stuff, or
that
like,
for sure.
let's say I have a supplement company. I have a supplement company called Natural Sim. Me posting something about, I don't know, Herbalife in one of my videos or something.
We had a little one like that. What was the title of our webinar that was getting nobody?
Oh, well, Brad's
Digital dumpster fire
No,
or
Brad's
something?
idea
This was my bad
He was
idea.
like, I want something shocking.
Yeah.
So he wanted the title to be Direct Mail Dumpster Fire. And we were going to talk about all
thought
of
it was good, you know?
all of
That's
the
intense
phrasing.
challenges of direct mail and things you're doing wrong with direct mail. But of course, it is perceived in a very negative connotation. We got like no traction on it. We said,
Yeah, we're like,
let's switch gears here. Let's go.
we know that when we send out an email, we'll get a good amount of immediate responses, and this one got like 3, and we're like, what? Did it go out? What's wrong? But so I have made mistakes.
Wasn't received well. So
Yeah.
Oh my God, somebody's saying direct mail kills.
Yeah.
Next slide, please.
Somebody says, can I just say that I love the table? Thank you. It's brand new. We're
Yeah.
actually, today is the first day that we have this table in here, so I appreciate it.
So this is a creative nightmare. This takes the Women Belong in the Kitchen to the next level. So Dove was trying to make a promotion that, Dove can be utilized by several different ethnicities. They were trying to make their brand culturally diverse. Mm-hmm. However, what they posted in this video was women of different ethnicities removing a t-shirt at the end after utilizing Dove body wash. They became a white woman. And so, of course, this was perceived very poorly. Everyone thought that it was, racist, and you use Dove and you can become clean and be a white woman after you use Dove.
Ouch.
And
That's
so
a big
people
mistake.
started literally boycotting Dove. They saw it was super offensive. They were very apologetic. It wasn't
remember
their
that one very
intention.
clear, yeah.
But
When was
who
I? When
you
was that?
have to, I always think you have to view your creative from your audience's eyes. Like sometimes I see things and think, are you not looking at this and asking yourself, how is your audience viewing this, right?
Yeah, let's put emphasis on that point, because I try to talk about that exact thing that you just said right now. You said it perfectly. I was going to say that you actually took away my thing that I was about to say, because I think that all these advertising blunders, all of them that you mentioned so far, the Coca-Cola, the Gap, the Dove, all these guys, it all boils down to them not being able to put themselves in the shoes of the audience. As simple as that. If anybody smart, you don't have to be super smart. Just see something like that has like a black person, and a white person with, you would immediately think, wait a second. So if I clean myself with this soap, I'm suddenly going to stop being myself and be, it is so easy to find the outpoints, the outnesses with your advertising if you actually just put yourself in the audience's shoes.
I think when these corporations get like so large, there's just like become such a huge disconnect from what actually happens in the real world and like how people feel and stuff. Like, they don't actually, like you said, put themselves in the shoes. What is the common person going to think of this? What are you and I going to think of this ad?
Yeah. And I run a lot of advertising. We spend millions of dollars in advertising every year. A lot of money being spent on campaigns across the board: Facebook, YouTube, Google, TikTok, everywhere. And I can tell you that I have gone through this pain many times before. Not at that level. That level is intense, right? Especially when you're looking at a big public corporation like that. These people get really hurt. They lose a lot of money, and at scale, because of the size and the basically reputation that they're supposed to be holding. But at a smaller scale, I have dealt with that problem many times, and I have built lines. And this is something that I recommend to everybody that's here. We have hundreds of people on this call right now. You guys all have businesses. I would imagine so, right, Brad? Everybody here owns a business, small business. You guys are like trying to get things going. Do we have some medium-sized businesses or mostly small business?
Absolutely.
Small to medium size.
Yeah. So what I would say is that you got to build a quality control line, and you don't let your creative person call the shots, like the final shots. Somebody external has to be able to look at that. Somebody outside the entire marketing flow, that from the creating of the ads, the copywriting, the messaging, the call to action, the video asset, the graphic image, whatever, you need to be able to look at that and have an additional point at the end. We use here something called Trello Boards. Trello.
Yeah.
So we put things on a Trello board, and it goes through the lines. And at the end of it, there's quality control. And there's 2 individual areas of quality control, and they need to approve it. And until they don't approve it, I don't go. Like, we had an example the other day, not the other day, several months ago. You guys know Dr. Berg, right?
Yep.
So we're responsible for everything that he has going on content-wise. We take his 28 pieces of content that he makes a month, and we turn that into 1,000 pieces of content. Includes graphic images, and we include like little clips and verticals, etc. So we do a graphic image. This is one of the reasons why my clients have made me better. I can tell you, inevitably, they always make us better. Dr. Berg has a lot of content. And if you guys are into the subject of keto, you know that there are certain carbohydrates that are acceptable and some that are not. So they created a graphic image. My team here, they posted it, in which it had on the list of acceptable carbohydrates, rice, and it had on the list of acceptable carbohydrates, wheat. And obviously the Dr. Berg team flips out about it. So when you post things out there on social media, even if you have like, it's all being done internally, but there's not a final line of approval that really understands what your message is about, then you can open up the door to all these blunders. And we had people like complaining on social media, like, Dr. Berg, what are you talking about? Rice, acceptable list of carbohydrates. It's supposed to be just lettuce. It's supposed to be like some vegetables. There's things that are logically okay on the keto diet. Definitely rice is not one of those. So it's coming from the Dr. Berg official account. He has millions of followers. It could be destructive to a brand.
Right.
You lose people along the way. You really do.
Absolutely. Yeah, and even just on a smaller level, you know, I'll look at a direct mail piece all the time and I'll just look at this and say, would you respond to this? You know, is this offer good? Would this invoke a response from you? If the answer is no, you need to revamp it. It needs to be modified. If I see an ad on social media or their digital ad, you know, what does this look like? Does this look like something I personally would respond to? If the answer is no, we need to go back to the drawing board.
And I think we as in this industry, we're in a unique position because we see so many ads and so many pieces of content over a prolonged period of time. We know what works and what doesn't. I mean, Adam sits in front of Google and Facebook and he sees the reactions or the clicks or engagements. He knows what works. And occasionally we'll find clients that just don't want to listen to us. I'm sure you've had that as well. You say, listen, I don't think this is going to work, but they're like, no, this is what I want. Okay. And
we're in the service industry, right? We're here to service them.
yeah,
Absolutely.
We can advise them and guide them and suggest, but at the end of the day, it's inevitable whatever they want to do.
right.
So it's good. Next slide, Jimmy.
Please. All right, so now that we've gone over some major historical advertising blunders, I just want to point out a few things on, you know, some campaigns that have come across my desk. So, you know, I was talking about, you know, trying to be clever, and this is a really good example of that visually, okay? So I look at this and I have no idea what is going on here. You know, there's a guy missing a tooth, there's a crown, I see the word appliance, like, what are we trying to accomplish here? You know, well, what they're trying to accomplish is a pageant for the ugliest appliance. But when I'm looking at this, you have a couple of seconds to grab my attention. You know, on average, maybe 7. If you're me and you're hyper-focused, I don't know, maybe 1, and I don't know what's going on, and I'm abort mission, right? But maybe a picture of a rusty refrigerator would have done a little bit better here, right? So they were trying to be clever, they were trying to be cute, but their audience probably had absolutely no idea what they were trying to communicate here.
I still don't know what they're trying to communicate.
Well, I get it. It is a marketing gimmick, all right? It's a marketing gimmick. They're trying to bring people. This is absolutely terrible marketing. It's great. Fantastic to see, right? So they're trying to get people to send their ugly, I don't know, heaters or whatever appliances for a chance to win. I mean, if you put yourself in the viewpoint of the audience, what is the purpose of the contest other than to get them to buy something, right? Like, if I look at this, I'm like, I mean, these guys, what a gimmick. Just offer me the appliance that you want to sell me.
Exactly.
Why are you making me send you a picture of a rusty old appliance? It is pretty dumb. It really is. But I
The whole
guess
idea, beyond the creative, right?
somebody had a brilliant idea and thought he was the genius marketer in the world. I wonder if we did that here in AGM. Maybe we ran this campaign.
I doubt it, man.
Just
Next
kidding.
slide, please.
Fascinating stuff.
Whoa, what is going on here? So, guys, it's marketing. It is not a menu, okay?
Busy.
I understand that sometimes, you know, we can't be sure what product, what service is going to capture our audience's attention. We get excited. We want to put it all out there because we want to capture whatever prospect or customer we can. But let's lead with one thing, one very good marketing action, one call to action, one good offer. They'll go to your website, they'll learn more about your company, and they'll engage in the offering that works for them. This is way too much. Like, I wouldn't even look at this. This one on the right, I have no clue what's going on here. It's like, it's insane.
And especially Adam, you get to work on social media a lot. In the world of social media advertising, this will not work. It absolutely will not work.
It's the size of a postage stamp. They
I mean,
won't see it.
you can run it as an ad right now. Maybe a few years ago, Facebook had a 20% text
Yeah,
rule.
they removed
They
that.
got rid of that. But still, this would be a disaster because on Facebook, you are targeting people that are not looking to solve their problem. So if you just present this to them, they're going to be like, next, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So you got to do like a couple lines and something that
It's
grabs
too
attention.
many messages. It gets lost in the sauce. You only have a few seconds to capture your target audience. When you give them a book to read, they're gone. Within seconds.
Let me this brings up a point that I know there's a lot of evangelicals on this point of testing. If you've got a lot of call to actions, you've got a lot of services or a lot of products, do separate ads, use them, test the response, and then go on to the next one. You will find one that engages better than others. So rather than dump everything in a 2-inch by 2-inch square, do one thing and then do another ad set with another one thing. And so what? So if you have 20 ad sets, you can still divide that budget amongst those 20 ads. This is a mess, obviously. Less is more. Remember that. Less is more.
And a lot of that comes down to, knowing how to segment your audiences too. You don't
Correct.
want to just have one campaign that encompasses every single one of your offers. You want to, segment these, people that are buying a refrigerator from people who want to buy an oven. That way you can serve them, relevant ads, which will drive up ultimately your conversion rates.
Here's my hottest tip for anybody here that wants to do something practical with this. Hottest tip in regards to this. You gotta, again, Morgan mentioned this. We talked about this. You gotta stop being yourself and become the audience temporarily.
Fantastic.
If you're gonna look at that entire paper full of copy and information that is overwhelming, you yourself, as the owner of the brand, you think it's sexy. You think it's awesome. You're passionate about it. You think it's cool. All right. You read it, you're like, oh my God, I'm such a good copywriter. Wow. This is powerful. Oh, I absolutely would buy this. If I was them, you know what? These people are going to be lucky to find this product. That's a wrong approach. You have to be like, okay, good. I did the copy. It's done. I got the graphic. I'm going to stop being myself for a moment and I'm going to become the audience. And then you go. And if you do that really well, very thoroughly, you'll be surprised how many times you're going to be like, oh no, this is garbage. Nobody's going to understand. I don't understand it. I've been trying to read this for 7 minutes and I don't even know what the heck they're telling me. So it's a very important tip. You got to stop being yourself, whatever your specialty is, and become the person that you're trying to reach.
Absolutely.
For a moment.
Someone's asking if there'll be a copy of these slides after. Yes, all registrants will receive a copy of the slides. I've had a couple of those questions.
Next slide, please. Okay, so we all know how prevalent omnichannel marketing is. And the reason why it's so effective is because on average, people are seeing anywhere from around 2,900 to 10,000 marketing messages a day, right? Whether that's logos on t-shirts, billboards, digital ads, email, direct mail, whatever it is, right? We are immersed with ads. And so the more cyclical you can keep your branding and have that marketing message and branding clearly communicate across all of your channels, the better you have an opportunity to continue that relationship that you establish with the customer with whatever marketing message grabbed their attention. You want them to remember you. You want them to trigger that familiarity. Oh yeah, that's right. I was interested in that. I need to follow up on it. These ads here, I'm not sure what's going on. They've got the spooktacular special. They've got the other special. None of the colors match. None of the imagery matches. You're just doing too much here. Pick one type of marketing message, stick with that, roll with it, and establish that across your different channels. No one is, I can't even tell that this is the same company, to be honest. I don't know.
I thought it was a different company. It is the same company?
It's the same company.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's just bad marketing. We want to clearly communicate our brand and our message, and we want people to recognize us. That is the whole idea of marketing.
Right. I'll tell you what we do over here. And this could be also something valuable for all of you guys listening in. We create, before we start running any marketing for any client, one of the first initial things to do, which is part of our onboarding, is creating something called a brand guide. And on that brand guide, you're going to have clearly established what are your logos, what are your colors, what is your font, what is everything that your brand stands for. And your creatives revolve around that. And yes, you can adjust it. Halloween, you can put something spooky or whatever, but your branding elements have to be the same. Whenever you look at my company, you're going to see our logos, our colors are the same. They're everywhere, in the floor, in the walls. When you look at, I dress blue generally. It's something that I liked. For me, it's important. Branding and repetition of
We
that
even have these
message.
little cool stars
Look,
that
you
attach to
got
them.
ninja, right? I'm known as I have been diving into being a ninja for many years. Marketing ninja is something that stuck with me for a long time, as Brad probably knows by now. So I have that element and it repeats itself. And I'm not going to be suddenly a RoboCop or something like that. I'm the ninja.
Absolutely. And just for us Gen X and baby boomers out there, we called that a style guide back in the 80s when Manuel
So
was
now
probably
you're
still
showing your age.
I think with all this gray, there's no way around
I feel
that.
pretty old already, Brad, though. I got 4 kids. I got a lot of gray hair. I don't know. I'm catching up, man.
I'm at least 15 years older than you.
Really? Wow. Okay.
I'm 55.
You look good,
How old-
Brad.
how old
You
are
look
you?
good. 41.
Oh, close. I said
Okay.
14.
14. Okay. Okay.
So next slide, please. So now that we've talked about what not to do, let's show some examples of what to do. Okay, so same look, same message, right? I mean, this is aesthetically pleasing. We see the Gecko, the Geico, and the 15 minutes could save you 15% or more across all channels, whether it's the direct mail, the digital ads, the billboards. You recognize it. You see that Gecko, you recognize it. You see the 15 minutes or more, you know that's Geico. If someone heard that tagline that's not using Geico insurance, you would know that it's Geico. Now you'll say, okay, sure, Morgan, they're a multi-billion-dollar organization, of course. We all recognize that. They're marketing everywhere. So next slide, please. Let me show you a descaled version of an organization that's not multi-billion dollar. This is a prime example of how we can re-communicate the exact same message across all channels. Oh, I receive a direct mail piece in the mail. I see this think outside the box office, the popcorn. Now I go in my social media later that night as I'm laying in bed and I see the ad. Boom, it triggers that familiarity. If I didn't engage previously, I might look into it further there or maybe on the Google ad. So this is a very good example of how to re-communicate your message and keep an omni-channel cyclical branding marketing strategy.
It's attractive. I'm drawn to it. I actually want to see what the heck they have to offer. It's good.
Next slide, please. So, we've talked a lot about what not to do, and now we really need to get into some effective marketing strategy. And at the foundational level, the most important thing about marketing is your audience. About 65% of marketing is your audience. The other 35% is your content, your creative. But we don't want to just know who our audience is. We want to know everything we can about this audience, right? Because once we know who they are and we know all of these things about them, then we can more appropriately market to them. We can tailor that creative to speak to them and trigger that conversion with a lot of different elements, right? So the more that we know about them, the better.
Absolutely. That's a fact.
Next slide, please. So one way that you can create an audience that is going to give you an indication of who's actually interested in your products and services right now is through the utilization of technology. So there's actually technology out there. We have this at DirectMail2.0 where you can put a pixel on your website and you can identify people that are actually on your website interested in your business, your products, your services right now. You can get their contact information. You can tell what pages on your site they're looking at so you know what they're interested in. So now you can market to them through social media or retargeting or direct mail with a picture of that item that they were looking at. So this is very effective. And
Voodoo magic.
it's voodoo magic. And think about it. Where does everybody go when they respond to your marketing? Where?
Your website.
Your website, right? So this is a great way to really achieve ROI on all your marketing across the board. Let's identify the people that are interested right now. That's a hyper-targeted list.
100%.
Next slide, please. So there's a lot of best practices for creative that converts, and we're going to dive into a few of these here, and then Adam's going to talk about some of these as well. So next slide, please. So buyer personas. Once we know our audience, we can tailor our messaging to really speak to them. What is the problem that we're trying to solve for them? That's really what we want to communicate to them through marketing. People have a problem, we're marketing to them a solution, right? And the messaging will look different depending upon what their problems are. So in this instance here, if we're a media agency, we're talking about what is going to solve their problem. If we're a startup, we're talking about how we can help them accelerate their startup, right? So we're really honing in and focusing on what it is that's going to communicate and speak to them and drive that conversion. Next slide, please. Different value propositions that are addressing pain points, right? So I have this problem, it's creating pain for me, and you can use the same creative, but you can tailor your content and your messaging so that it will speak to different audiences. Just like Adam was talking about a few minutes ago, segment these audiences and display different creative and different content to them. Next slide, please. Using social proof and credibility. So one of the main reasons that people won't purchase is because they have fear, right? So, gosh, I don't want to make this investment. Oh, I'm not sure if it's going to work. Oh, that's a lot of money. Well, if you utilize social proof or credibility, you can eliminate that fear and you can get that engagement, so showing them that, hey, I have 1 million people utilizing this product. Wow. Well, can't be a bad investment if 1 million people are using it. Or, wow, they created over 400,000 leads for that organization. Well, it can't be a crap product if it did that. Like this guy on the right, I don't know what he's doing, but it seems kind of sketch to me. There's absolutely no social proof credibility, just, oh, the 25 million swipe file. No.
Actually, I had a
It's
real
an opinion, right?
Yeah, I had a real world example of that yesterday. I was at my house, and it was a door-to-door salesman got going, trying to sell, I think it was ant spray for the house. And a part of his sales pitch, he referenced my neighbor by name because once I make that connection, if my neighbor is using it, I should be using it too. So that goes with the whole about social proof and credibility. It's a smart sales tactic.
Yeah, social proof is goes really wide. I can tell you it's extremely important. Social proof is also, when you're running ads, as you run a lot of ads yourself, people start commenting and engaging. That's really, really important. You want to have people interact with your content. Not only does that feed the algorithm, Facebook likes it, Instagram likes it, it helps you reach more people, but also people love to hear what others have to say about it.
Oh, yeah.
Think about one of the most valuable companies on the planet. Amazon is built on other people's opinions. You don't buy products unless you get some time to read the reviews.
Absolutely.
A product that has no reviews usually does not do well on Amazon.
Correct.
Unless you somehow have a very unique product and you're the only one selling it, you're going to need reviews. That's the way it is. And usually we are all conditioned to, on Amazon, we search for products and then we look at how many reviews do you got? Oh, they got 27,000 reviews. How many of these ones have? Oh, 1,000. These guys must be better. They must be better. So you're conditioned already as a customer, as a user, to look at other people's opinions and look at the size of other people's opinions. So like how many people are actually giving their opinions about it. It's a big deal. So when you see that number being 5 stars, for example, 4.5, immediately you get something that we all need to be able to get customers to buy.
Yeah, that's
Trust.
what I do. I mean, if I look for the largest number of reviews, as long as it's over 4.5, I just look for the item that has the most number of reviews. Even if it costs a little more, that's the one I'll buy.
You're conditioned to that. That's the way it is, right? Because you already know that so many people went for it already. And the people that go for it, if they hate the product, I can tell you it's 10 times easier for somebody to leave a negative review than for somebody to leave a positive review.
Oh, absolutely.
The ones that are dislike for the product, it's so easy for them to just be upset. Oh my God, this product was horrible. So when you see the reviews being good in general, at large, you have trust and you buy things like easily. Now I'll say one more thing about the social proof aspect of it. A lot of people have a problem. They feel uncomfortable with bragging about what they do. It's something that we run into. That's the reality. They don't want to say how many people they've serviced. They don't want to say how many millions of dollars they generate, how many people they've actually gotten through their program. They don't want to say how many lives they've helped. It's something that they feel like, oh, my mom and my grandma taught me that I shouldn't be bragging about things and I should be humble. Well, here's the thing. There's a quote from Muhammad Ali, and he says, it's not bragging if it's true.
Right.
Variation of that. I'm paraphrasing what he said. So here's the thing. People do get impacted by what you've accomplished, especially if you can prove it. Like I built 2 of the biggest YouTube channels in the country. I can show it to you. And because of that, when I say that, people trust me. I can tell them these are the ones that I built. I communicate those things, right? I say my brand did $50 million in revenue this year. When you do that and you prove it and you even say the name of your brand and you communicate what you've done, people immediately trust you. And it's a big deal because you're going to be able to get people to convert a lot better by doing that. And this is applicable, like when you guys do media mail campaigns, when you do postcards, when you are doing Facebook ads retargeting, that positioning is extremely important because otherwise they don't believe you as much as they believe what other people have to say about you.
Right. Makes total sense.
Absolutely. Next slide, please. And so you took that right out of my next slide. Using reviews, right? So we've got some great marketing minds here. And, using a review on a postcard, on a digital ad, on your website, because when people are interested in learning more about your organization, they're going to go to your website. They want to see that content on your site. Look, I've created 2 of the biggest YouTube channels. Here's my customer testimonials. This is what I've done. 50,000 clients served. That speaks volumes about your organization, and it absolutely should be translated over onto your marketing content.
They're still looking at Google, by the way, for your company. They're
Sure.
still like finding out if this company is for real. Google is still a big deal. If
Yep.
you guys can continue generating reviews on Google, you want to do that because before people buy from you, services or products, they are spending some time looking at what you have going on. And Google.com, they look at your company, AGM agency. If I have negative reviews, that's the end of the story right there.
Yep.
It's over.
It's true.
Yep, they don't even make it to the site.
That's right.
No.
Abort.
That's right.
Go to the next one.
Next slide. Don't use click here, right? So we can utilize a lot of better call to actions in today's time and space. It's actually very derogatory for your SEO. There's a lot of other call to actions that we can use. Read more, learn more, watch now. And Adam can probably expound on that a little bit too, right?
Yeah, anything like register, it should be relevant to, something that you're offering. If it's a show, if you're a movie theater, say get show times, make sure the call to actions, very, very, very relevant to, whatever you're offering.
Yeah.
That's right.
And
Download, book now.
Exactly.
And I think it distracts them too, because it might say click here, and maybe that's not where you want them to click, and they're not sure how they're supposed to convert, and it's just not the best call to action anymore. So
That's right.
next slide, please. But call to action and offer are extremely important, right? So I see a lot of postcards or digital ads go out, and it's just a company's name, their logo, and a product.
Okay,
What
what
do
am I
you do?
supposed to do? Now what?
Yeah,
Now what?
yeah. Like why? Okay, great. Like thank you for communicating that with me. But there's absolutely no offer. First of all, it should be a really good offer. What is the offer? What are you offering me in exchange for me to convert here? And tell me exactly what to do and how to do it. Right? If you want me to call, tell me that. Call now to receive X. If you want me to go to your website, tell me that. Go to my website to fill out this form. And don't ever underestimate the power of free either. Whether it's a free consultation, I think this one from Graze speaks volumes. They're really putting their money where their mouth is. They're offering a free Graze box. You see there is step-by-step instructions there on exactly what they want them to do. Go to this website, enter this code, do this, do this. So, don't expect that people know what you want them to do. If you want to drive a conversion, make it crystal clear what you want them to do and make the offer really good, right?
Absolutely.
You've got competitors
Let
out
me
there.
expound on that. In terms of the call to action, the offer has to be compelling. So I'll give you a little history. So I spent years in the e-commerce business selling CDs and DVDs online. And there's very little margin in those products. I'll be honest with you. We'd started out and we'll be like 5% off. Nobody cares about 5% off. 10% off. Oh, now I'm making nothing. Nobody cares. Okay, so how do you get around that? A lot of times the things that motivate people are discounts north of 20, 25% or BOGOs. Those are usually money-losing sort of calls to action. So it's like, how do you get around that, So what you usually do, and I don't want to get into all the secrets of e-commerce, but it's usually I don't want to say a bait and switch, but you're giving a loss leader product to get them to hopefully buy your more margin producing product. So my point is, don't waste your advertising dollars doing a 5% off, or better yet, a non-compelling offer. It has to be compelling. And yes, there may be some pain in it, but think about this. That customer that you attracted once is most likely to buy from you again. So even if that first transaction is not lucrative, the chances of them coming back again are very high. So there is some pain sometimes in those calls to action, but make them compelling.
I'll add a little more to it because it's 100% accurate. The last part of what Brad said right here, the customer buys again. It also depends on what you do with. A lot of people say the money's in the list. More than that, the money's in what you do with the list. So a lot of people expect people to keep on buying, but they don't communicate enough to the list. They don't give them value. They don't send email marketing. They don't do text messaging campaigns, none of that stuff, right? So you got to do all those things in combination. You gotta keep on doing postcards, then you gotta keep on mailing, then you gotta put ads all over again. Repetition of the message. Like here's a crazy thing about the world that we live in today. People don't see your ads. Even when you put them in front of them, they don't see them. They don't see the emails. Sometimes they even open them and they don't even see them. Like they're like so much stuff going on, and it's such a busy world that the ones that win the game are the ones that consistently put themselves in front of these people
Multiple
over
impressions.
and over and over
For
again.
a long time.
For a long time. If you do a postcard campaign, which I'm sure you guys experience that, and they say, here's a $20,000 marketing postcard campaign. I can't wait. I'm going to sit back and wait for the bank account to get full of money from all this return. You can't really do one postcard campaign.
Nope.
It doesn't work like that.
We didn't even pay him to say that, but no, that's true.
And I'm telling you for real, because it's also applicable. Like it's an advertising fact in general.
Yeah.
Repetition of that message over and over, and communication in general on a consistent, obsessive way is what really takes you there. Now, to add a little more to this whole concept, I can tell you guys that in reality, there is a in the process of developing all these prospects, I can give you guys an example. When you're doing campaigns, 10%, 50% off, like it's not about that. You said something about how free is powerful. The word free is powerful.
Yep.
If you know your numbers as a business owner, free could be extremely powerful to you.
Yes.
I can tell you who knows their numbers. Netflix, Amazon, these guys know their number. If you think about Amazon, for example, they pay upwards of $250 to acquire one Amazon Prime member that gives them $10. So think about it. They're losing $240 on that front end. Why? Because they already know their numbers. They already understand the lifetime value of that customer.
Right.
So that's an example. Netflix has similar numbers like that. They get $15 a month or whatever it is, and they spend hundreds of dollars to acquire one customer. That's normal for them, right? In my line of business, if I can get one prospect in, I already know my numbers. I know that out of every 100 people that come in, I'm going to get an agency client. 1 out of 100. So I already know I got to invest a lot. So look at this example right here. 100 client prospects come in. They get something free that I give them. A course that cost me a lot of energy to put together. I give them to them for free. So 100 of them come in. I know 99 of them are not going to buy anything from me. Let's say one of them buys something. And let's say that I paid $20 a person. Anybody good at math here? 20 times 100.
2,000.
Okay, so I paid $2,000 to bring in 100 prospects. So you may say, wait a second, Manuel, where's the money in here? You just wasted for one client? Well, those clients in general pay me $48,000 to $50,000 minimum a year.
It's a no-brainer then.
It's right there, right?
Yeah,
so when you have that formula already cleared up and you understand your numbers as a business owner, you can go deep into these campaigns because marketing is not something that happens overnight. My father used to tell me, Manuel, you got to stop saying the word you spent on this campaign, on that campaign. Stop saying that. He used to correct me all the time. He passed away a year and a half ago. Brilliant guy, brilliant marketer, great content creator. He used to tell me, Manuel, it's invested. I'm like, Dad, but I don't got no revenue to show you. He's like, it doesn't matter. When you do a marketing campaign, you're not spending money. You're not wasting money. You are investing. And that's all part of like what we're trying to accomplish here.
Yeah, it's that message over and over again. I think we use in one of our other slides, the average person gets 10,000 marketing messages a day.
Wow.
I mean, there's no way that your brain can even track or acknowledge seeing 10,000 messages a day. So the only way that message is going to get through is to hit that same person day
showing
after
up.
day after day after day when
That's
everyone
what-
else gives up.
That's what makes your branding so important
Yeah.
because it's subliminal at that point. They see the same color scheme, the same message multiple times a day. Even without them realizing, they're saying, oh, now I recognize that product next time they see it.
Just keep showing up.
Correct.
Keep on being there.
And there's so many variables that come into play when in the buying decision. You know, I may not be ready to buy. I'm interested. Maybe the first through 3 times I get hit with your marketing message. Maybe financially it doesn't work for me right now, but maybe on the 9th time that serendipitous moments occurred where I've talked to the decision maker, financially it makes sense. You know, I have an immediate need now and you're right front and center as opposed to your competitors, and I engage in business with you. And that's what we're trying to create here.
Absolutely.
Hey,
Good stuff.
can I just make, guys, if you want to ask a question, please use the Q&A. I'm typing responses, but I think they're only going to the panelists here. So if you have a question or you'd like a comment addressed, we're going to hopefully leave a few minutes at the end for that. So please use the Q&A.
We're already at
John Cassidy
2:53.
says,
Yeah.
using DM 2.0 has allowed me to help my clients hit their leads 12, 16 times in 30 days.
Fantastic.
We'll pay you later for that.
We love that, John Cassidy.
Yeah.
Next slide, please. Attention grabbing imagery. You know, you've got a split second to get somebody's attention. So if you use imagery that grabs someone's attention, it's going to lure them in and give an opportunity for them to actually read your marketing message. Next slide, please. And now I'm going to toss it over to Adam. I mean, we've got
We have 7 minutes according to our scheduled time.
So we can kind of go through these quickly. You know, I don't want to hark onto it. A lot of it is, you know, on the creative side. So these are slides you can kind of, you know, read on your own time, so just so we can get through the whole program. But just the first one, just, you know, things like psychology of color. You know, we go back to all branding, having a good color scheme. You know, there's certain colors that appeal to people. I don't know if you can see what we're all wearing, but we're all wearing the same kind of yellow. We did not do that on purpose. But if you see on the chart, it says like friendly, optimism. So hopefully we all had the same mindset of the optimism for today. Next slide. Avoid stock images. Just real quick, you know, you want to have your target audience connect with your message. So if you're using an obvious stock image, something they can't really relate to, you know, you're probably not going to convert as much. We'll kind of just run through these. You can look at these on your next. Same with the personalization, you know, as with faces, something you relate to. If, you know, if I see Morgan's face, she's using this product, you know, I can put myself in her shoes where, you know, I could see myself using, you know, that same product as well.
Yeah,
Next
it
slide.
actually
Okay.
converts, I think, about 91% higher when you're utilizing face in a marketing message as opposed to just a stock image. So it's pretty profound and powerful.
People like to buy from humans more than they like to buy
Absolutely.
from brands.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And, you know, just being able to connect on an emotional level, really, a lot of it is all about personalization. So it comes back down to understanding your audience. You know, what is the product you're selling? How can you connect with, you know, your potential buyer emotionally, logically, because that message that you send to them will resonate, you know, a lot better if you understand yourself, what you're selling and who your target audience is.
True. And one of the emotions that really gets me to act is fear. Like, you know, those little like
FOMO.
only one left. Like, they're probably lying.
Scarcity.
But they get me every time. I'm like, oh my God, there's only one pair
Yeah.
of those shoes left. Oh, I better buy them now. You know, it's FOMO.
FOMO is
gets
real.
you.
Well, it's a scarcity, and here's the thing: you don't have to feel like you're lying to people because you're so passionate about your products that you know they're gonna sell out. Like you really believe it that everybody's gonna buy them. So because of that, you use that in your marketing. Hey, I got a limited supply of this. That's just the way it is.
I've also seen as a tactic where they do it kind of falsely, where they say, "Hey, you know, it's in their checkout. There's only 3 left," but there's not really.
Yes.
They
yes,
harken, they
to get
play
you
on that.
psychologically.
Yeah.
There's actually
buy.
software on e-commerce platforms that
Oh yeah, I
have
see it all the
this
time.
fake little machines that tell you how many are left.
Yep.
Right? That's the way it is. Amazon actually has real numbers though. Amazon
Yes.
will keep track of your inventory. So when Amazon says like 7 left, there's 7 left on the
Yes.
seller's inventory.
Yep.
That's a fact. But most use it as a gimmick.
Yep.
Next slide,
Anyways,
please.
strategies that you can use to improve your ads for sure.
Yep. Just like we talked about, just consistency of messaging, you know, call to actions, it should be relevant. What was really cool is just going one step further about call to actions. You know, your call to actions can only be so important if your conversion page isn't set up as well. So something that was cool was last week when we came here for the walkthrough, the first thing that Manuel took us to was his web guy who showed us 2 of his lead form pages when he had us fill out the pages where it was just our name and our email address. But the cool thing about it is he had a frequency of the emails that would be delivered. So you could do 1 day, 7 days, a month, every day. The cool part of that is it gave me control. And when I'm a buyer or am I interested, I like to be in control. So being able to have that option of, 1 day, 3 days, 7 days, I'm telling him how much he can email me instead of, me just giving him my email address and, him sending it out every day. So I thought that was really cool.
I'm a little bit hurt though. I wanted you to select 7 days. Right?
Sure.
I do got a lot of value to
Yeah.
give out. So,
Yeah,
but
but
it's a good point.
Yeah.
I also think it's important too, I'll see a postcard with an offer and I get to the website and there's nothing about that offer, nothing about the marketing message. And I am not going to take the time to go through that website to look for it. When I land on that page, it should be front and center right there, what I got to that page to do. So
Absolutely.
consistent, messaging across all the way to destination URL is so important.
Absolutely.
Next slide, please.
Good stuff.
So ad placement, this just gives some example of, different ways you can correctly place your ad. So for example, Facebook has the desktop newsfeed and stuff, but then you go to like Instagram where it has, the Instagram stories and the Instagram newsfeed. You want to make sure that your ads are, properly formatted for each placement, just so it's being displayed, as optimal, as possible. So that's just a little tidbit there.
Well, it's a big one. People sometimes don't realize that Facebook is not just Facebook. Facebook is Facebook feed, Facebook stories, Facebook reels,
Messenger.
Facebook desktop, all these things, right? Messenger, Instagram is not just Instagram, it's Instagram posts, stories, reels, etc. So there's all these different opportunities that are different pieces of real estate in this world that you have the ability to select if you're running Facebook ads, or you can hire somebody like Direct Mail and they'll run the ads for you guys or us, right? Like we do that.
Absolutely.
We do that. If you feel, you have the ability to do so, this is an opportunity. It really is. And I'll talk about that more in my section. But again, the subject of marketing it's one of those things that never ends. And you can always find opportunities if you just open up your eyes and look.
Yeah,
for them.
there's no one size fits all in marketing.
No.
Definitely
Right.
not.
That's right.
Next slide, please.
I just wanted to just break in. I know we're at the cutoff point. We will go over time for anyone who wants to stay on. Anyone that does have to leave, we do like to keep our things punctual and on time. You will get a copy of this recording as well as the deck. So as long as you registered for it with your email address, we will send out that recording and the deck probably 24, 48 hours.
Sure.
So if you have to leave us, it's fine. You will get a copy. I'm answering some of the comments or the questions in the Q&A. If anything is specific that's here, I will bring it up live after the next section. So go ahead and keep posting those questions. Even if you've gone, we will answer them or I will respond to them personally.
I would like to say that I have gone through many challenges in my business journey. The biggest and most difficult thing that I've gone through in my life that I still have not resolved is ending a webinar on time. I promise you, I still have not conquered that area. I start on time usually. Today I was 2 minutes late. Usually I take it personal and I start on time. I still have not figured out how to talk just enough so I can end on time. So that's my audience here, they're not shocked by what you just said, Brad. All right? They kind of
more
expect it.
punctual. I will say we're more punctual, but you know what? This is your house. We're doing it your way. And if anybody wants to stay on, we're here with you.
All right, let's keep going.
All right. Next slide, please. All right, so we have intersecting interests. So this is something where, we're going back to segmenting audiences. The example here is, Dr. Pepper is doing a campaign, but specifically for, college football fans. So you're creating your audience and all your creatives based on, those audiences overlapping each other. So it kind of just goes to, knowing your audience, knowing your target audience, and having the correct creatives to, deliver your message to them.
Absolutely.
Great stuff. Dr. Pepper, not to be confused with Dr. Berg. Two very different subjects.
Not a real doctor. Dr. Pepper is it. Next slide, please. And so video is king of content. Facebook, I believe, has a 20% higher click-through rate on any video, or not even just click-through, but engagement period. Like Manuel saying, even if the person doesn't necessarily click on the video to convert, but having those likes, those comments, those engagements just makes your creatives perform a lot better, because that's what the Facebook algorithm prefers, the engagements.
Sure.
Absolutely.
We're utilizing YouTube, the second largest search platform on the web. It's 100% video, and that's powerful. And Manuel's proven how successful you can be in that realm also.
And it's also important to make sure that you get your message across in, 5 to 10 seconds. You know, no one's going to sit there and watch a video for 45. They might. They usually leave it on by accident if they're watching it that long. But, you know, realistically, if your video needs to be under 30 seconds and your initial message needs to come across in the first 5 to 10 seconds so they know exactly what you're communicating.
And I would say that depends on what you're trying to accomplish, right? Because if you're doing an advertising campaign, absolutely. If you're just doing a branding, you want to get content out there, well, a lot of these content kings, the ones that are amazing at it, they hold attention for 10, 12 minutes, 8 minutes, half an hour. But they're not really selling something. It's not a marketing campaign. Yeah. But to Adam's point, when you're talking about a marketing campaign, the shorter the video, the better. That's the way it is. If you're trying to get people to perform an action, go to a website, click on a link, they want to fill out a form, you want to get them to convert, then the shorter the better. That's absolutely a fact.
Yep, absolutely. Next slide, please. Cool.
All right, is that me now?
Yeah, that looks
All
like
right,
it's you.
That's me. Let's go.
Here
All
he
right.
is.
Okay, great. So I'm gonna basically go through this very fast because we already used our hour, and I want to value your time because you were promised an hour. Correct? That's what it was supposed to be. So I'm gonna go through it really quick. I was telling some of the guys in here that basically these 9 steps, each and every one of them are a webinar on its own, right? Because they're that important. I have accomplished a lot of success over my years. I still pinch myself sometimes, like, wow, it's been amazing to go down this journey. And I had to go back in time. You know, in my case, some of you guys don't know my story, haven't even seen me before. You don't even know who the heck I am. That's fine. I'm still getting myself out there and getting known. But I come from a background that was very dark. Criminality, drug addiction, bankruptcy, all kinds of problems. Bankruptcy twice. One of them with my family going bankrupt, and then later on myself. Again, it's been a disaster, right, throughout my life. Maybe a decade ago, things started going in a different direction, probably driven by a motivation to provide for my family at that point. At that point, it was not just me. I look at my kids and I'm like, I'm the one that determines whether they're going to do well or not. I got to provide for these guys. And that led to me looking for opportunities. No career, no background, no degrees, no university, nothing. Just a lot of problems the first 50 years of my life. So the last 10 years have been a dream, but I put the energy. I didn't get lucky. There's a quote from a philosopher, Seneca. He says, what does it mean to get lucky? It's preparation meets opportunity. When that happens, then you get lucky. That's what happened to me. I got prepared. I got introduced to opportunities, and I got lucky along the way. So as I built all the success, right now we're currently doing, I have my own brand that does close to $50 million a year in revenue. I have my own agency that is 2 times Inc. 5000 honoree. We're doing great. I get to work with some of the best clients in the world. We do over $200 million in revenue a year. And we do that every single year, and it's amazing. I had to think about, how did I get here? So I can actually give people the advice for them to be able to travel a similar road, even though they might be outside the system. How did I get myself to this position? And I came up with 9 steps, the formula, all right? So I'm going to, just so you guys, I wanted to give you guys the intro to why these 9 steps. These are my 9 steps. I didn't take it from anybody. I looked back to before I was winning in life, losing across the boards, to when I started winning and what got me to where I'm at today in this incredible dream that I'm living right now every single day, having hundreds of employees, amazing. What got me there? So I'm going to tell you guys the 9 steps, and you guys can watch this replay. You can make notes of it and see how you can apply all these 9 steps for yourself so you can hopefully get some success or take yourself to the next level, because a lot of you guys are already very successful, right? So how do you take yourself to the next level? I can tell you that I'm doing these 9 steps. I'm doing it. It's an active thing. It's evergreen. It's always something that I can apply to myself, to my life, to the people around me. And it's highly recommended for all of you guys to implement this on yourself. So let's break them down. Jimmy, next slide. So number 1, Determinate Superpower. Like I said, we can do a whole webinar on this. When I talk about Determinate Superpower, it means what is the ability that your brand, your business has to influence the lives of other people. In my case, I'm a marketer. I sleep marketing, I breathe it, I eat it, I don't do anything else but marketing, and it has helped me accomplish success. So my ability to help other people understand marketing is my superpower. Take something that might be complicated. Adam has a similar ability, right? And we're teaching people how to do marketing. That's my superpower. I already got that crystal clear. I have other superpowers, like I know how to build a team, I know how to like help people, etc. But marketing is the number one thing. You got to have that crystal clear. And I can tell you one thing. If you're a business and you have products or services, you have a superpower. You might not have accepted it, but you have it, because otherwise your business would not be able to sell. You sell products and services based on your direct, in proportion ability to influence the lives of people some way, shape, or form, somehow. Your products that you're selling are going to make somebody else better somehow. That's your superpower. And you have information that you can use to keep on feeding to people and giving them value. So figuring that as the number one thing will help you with everything. Your marketing is going to help you with your content. It's going to help you with your all of it once you really understand who you are and how you can help people. Next one. You guys want to interrupt me at any time, all right? Because I know I still got 8 more to cover.
I'm going to interrupt you on number 2, but go ahead and.
All right. So
Lay it out.
number 2, create social media channels everywhere for your brand. So this one over here, for me, is very important because I believe in 2022, we are living through an opportunity. And that opportunity is something that in the 1990s or even the early 2000s did not exist, which is the ability to press buttons on this thing called a cell phone device and reach people without having to pay a penny. That did not exist 20 years ago. And because we have that right now, I can let you know officially right now in the books, on the record, that this opportunity will get really crowded. There is no other era in which you can create channels with millions of followers in a couple of months than what we're living on right now. You could say that it's been lasting for about 12 years, right? Since the advent of YouTube, Facebook, all these platforms. But for a few years, it was kind of dead because organic reach had died. And everybody was talking about, oh, organic reach, now you got to pay to play, it's all dead. Well, it's back in action. Facebook Reels, Instagram Reels, TikTok, the battle for attention, YouTube Shorts, all these things are absolutely on fire. And because they're on fire, you have the ability to keep more money in your pocket, leverage your superpower to get attention and generate more revenue, right? So now when you're doing postcard campaigns, when you're using DirectMail 2.0 services or my services, you're maybe communicating to people that already have seen your value. And these people that have seen your value already believe in you. And that makes your results dramatically better because they trust you. These social media platforms allow you to build trust with people. And because of that, your offers perform better. I know you want to interrupt that too.
It kind of goes into your next few things, and it's something that I've learned recently. I mean, I go back to the MySpace days and even AOL before that. But one of the things I noticed is, I invested all this time in my MySpace when 20 years ago or whenever it came out. And then all of a sudden Facebook popped up. I'm like, oh my God, I got to create all this content again and I got to post it here. And then all of a sudden Twitter comes out and then another one. And I took it personally of now I got to recreate this content. And I'm like, no, I'm going to wait until there's one where everybody goes. Well, guess what? It ain't going to happen. Yes, if you really want to be out there, you got to post it everywhere. Now there are software tools to help you do that and use them, but you have to be everywhere. Just like when going back to the late 90s, when a few people are starting to put up websites and someone, people are calling you, oh, you need a website. Nobody goes to the websites. Nobody uses them. Guess what? Everybody's got a website now. Everyone's going to need a TikTok, a Facebook, a YouTube, whatever it is, you're going to need it until it's gone. So get over it and start posting widely.
Good point.
Absolutely. It is the opportunity. Next slide, Jimmy. I think it's part of the same one, actually. Go back. Number 3. Post your content everywhere. So it goes in line with that. So it's not only create the channels. I'm just giving you guys a sequence of actions, right? Like, oh, I hate TikTok. I don't really like it. Who cares if you like it or not? Your audience is in it, all right?
Exactly.
Your opinion of it doesn't matter. I can tell you my father never used Instagram in his entire life. He never used Facebook. He never used any of that
for
stuff.
him.
Yeah, he had me for us to use the platform. But personally, it is a tool that you want to use to reach your audience. That's all it is. So your like or dislike is not part of this equation. You got to just use it, all right? So you get your content ready and post it everywhere and post it as much as possible. Next one. Number 4. So this one says, work towards posting in large quantities without sacrificing quality. And I can tell you guys, without going too deep into this, because otherwise we could talk about this all day long, our formula for helping these powerhouses, I like to call them content unicorns like Dr. Berg. They're very unique. Dr. Berg makes 28 videos a month. Let's say 30, 1 per day. Historically, that is his number. That's what he does, 1 a day, 1 video a day. But if you go in social media, you're going to think about, well, Dr. Berg is making thousands of videos a month. He's not. We take his primary content. We call it primary content. That's what it is. 6-8 minute videos, 10, 12 minute videos. He posts them on YouTube. And from there, we do the magic. You take that content that he posts on YouTube and we turn them into 1,000 pieces of content. It's a lot, but you got a lot of platforms. You got Facebook Reels, Facebook Stories, Facebook Feed, Instagram Stories, Instagram Reels. You got YouTube Shorts. You got YouTube Community. If you guys didn't know, that's actually a placement. TikTok and all these different places that you can communicate different adjustments to the formats and all these other things. And you can turn your primary content with a good editor or a mediocre one. It doesn't have to be a special one. These people are available right now. There's people out there looking for opportunities to work. We live in a world right now which is pretty much united because of this thing called the internet. So if you guys wanted to hire people in the Philippines, if you guys wanted to hire people in Mexico, if you guys wanted to hire people anywhere to be your editors to help you execute on this, just go ahead and hire them, and you pay them what the country is usually used to getting paid. So there's opportunities in that area, massive opportunities in that area for you to post.
So I have a question for you. So with the emergence of, TikTok and YouTube Shorts over the, last couple of years, how do you feel like the length of your content has, evolved to, kind of go with how the industry has a much shorter, attention span?
So on YouTube, people are still consuming content by the boatloads. All right. You got to recognize that YouTube is a different animal on its own. YouTube is a learning platform. There is no more qualified audience in the universe than somebody that consumes your content on YouTube. That is your best audience because these people consume full horizontal videos. They're there, for example, going back to Dr. Berg. What are they there to learn? What are they there to learn to Dr. Berg?
How to lose weight with a ketogenic diet.
How to lose weight with the ketogenic diet.
Yep.
So they want information. They're getting free courses. Courses before YouTube used to be sold for a lot of money.
Absolutely.
Now you just go to YouTube to learn everything.
Everything.
So people that are on YouTube are consuming content. I can tell you something that, again, this is a very deep subject. Good question, Adam. But it's not really apples to apples. That's why I believe YouTube is the single most important platform, senior to everything else, because YouTube also lives permanently. It is evergreen. People can keep on finding you over and over again. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, it all disappears in a feed. It goes away, never to be found again. So you cannot put them next to each other.
That's a good point.
Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn,
Need it all.
all these platforms should be flowing energy towards your main media organization, which is YouTube. We have the ability to create our own channels right now of distribution of content and messages. That's what YouTube is. So people like Dr. Berg, I can tell you, just getting a little bit more practical about it, we don't post YouTube shorts on Dr. Berg's channel. We tried it, and it completely crashed our numbers. We found out that the algorithm, when you start doing this, hopefully they change it soon, when you start posting too many shorts, will suppress your reach of your main content. So on the big channels, we don't do it. On the small channels that are still catching fire, we triple down on YouTube Shorts. Because YouTube Shorts right now are the easiest way to grow subscribers.
What's a short? Under 30
a short
seconds?
is 1 minute long.
1 minute.
1 minute long
It's a
max.
TikTok.
TikTok's like,
Yeah.
okay.
Now TikToks are doing up to 3 minutes now. Actually, up to 10 minutes some accounts,
Yep.
which is crazy. They're doing up to 10-minute full videos now. They've evolved. People are not consuming the content on TikTok like that, but they're trying. Instagram is now doing 1.5 minutes, and Facebook is now doing 1 minute.
I have a question from someone in the audience. What do you recommend any type of software that will mass post these things to multiple sites? I know HubSpot's one. What do you use or what do you recommend?
So this one is going to cost you a DirectMail 2.0 campaign worth minimum of $50,000. All right, you gotta commit, and I'll give you this tip.
All right.
All right,
I don't know that they're going to commit, but
no.
I mean, obviously there's professional, like enterprise type products, and then there's consumer or small business type products. I'm assuming you're probably using some kind of enterprise type.
Jimmy, what is it called? Reposter.io?
That's what it sounds. Yeah, that sounds right.
Reposter.io. You can
All right,
just check.
I'll type that in.
Check with Jorge. He's the one that introduced us to it recently. Apparently, you can go into that place, and if it's the wrong link, I'll correct it to you guys in a minute. But you can go into that place, connect your accounts, and you can schedule across the board all these things. And there's some opportunities. There's some stuff that you can do with it.
Good. All
It
right.
might be repurpose.io. I'll confirm in a second.
I'll just check it.
Repurpose.io or
Poster, you said?
reposter or repurpose.
All
We'll
right.
confirm in a second. But there are tools like that for scheduling at scale. We've been using Agora Pulse for a long time, and that allows us to schedule across the board. The things like Reels were still not available for posting, so we actually have to go directly on the platforms. If you go to Creator Studio on Facebook, Creator Studio, you can post Reels, Facebook Reels there. You cannot post Instagram Reels yet. So for us to post Instagram Reels, we had to go to the Instagram.com platform on the website or on the mobile device. But if you want to create a machine of content, you want to go there. Did you find it?
I didn't. I mean, it's not resolving. I'm answering another question.
Okay.
I'm answering another question
Jimmy's
at this
gonna
point.
Jimmy's gonna find it for us in a second. It's either repurpose.io or we'll find out in a second what it is. But apparently it's really cool, and we just discovered it recently for posting things. So let's keep moving. Jimmy, next slide. Okay, I think we skipped 5. Go back 1. Okay, yeah, it's a different color. Engage with your audience. So this is important. If you're creating campaigns that are producing interaction and people are commenting and asking questions and they're showing life.
It is repurpose.io.
Repurpose.io
Thanks.
is the name of the website. All right. So check that out, guys, so you can make your lives easier. One post can go into many different places from that place. So engaging with your audience is simply community management. If you're getting Instagram DMs, if you're getting messages on Messenger, if you're getting post comments, if you're getting interaction, you want to make sure that you show up there and you make your brand feel present. And I don't know if you want to add something to that, Adam, but I believe that when the brand shows up, I get more trust over that brand because they're showing
Absolutely.
themselves.
And even on, if you ever go on the Facebook page of a company, it will pop up and say, this company usually responds in 3 to 5 minutes. So if a company doesn't respond for, a day or two, you're less likely to even message them in the first place. So
Yeah. We live in a world of instant gratification.
Absolutely.
And people want to feel important. So it's all about servicing your company through your marketing. Very
right.
important.
That's right. All right, Jimmy, next slide. Okay, good. So rapid fire here. Boost organic reach by investing a little in advertising. So we talked about posting large quantities of content. So ideally, like you want to get up to, depending on how big your unicorn superpower is, right? To provide value and to educate and to inspire and to entertain, whatever that may be. If you look at somebody like us, our Natural Sun brand, we post over 3,000 times a month. We post a lot. So we get a lot of engagement, and we have a team of moderators of 25 people that are answering comments all day long because it's pretty intense. We got a lot of value. What I do to reach people that are not being reached with organic is that I take my best performing posts and I give them some energy. And that is applicable to TikTok. It's applicable to Facebook. It's applicable to Instagram and even to YouTube. And you can actually take your content, the one that the audience already showed that they liked because you're posting it. All those numbers are available. You go to the Facebook Creator Studio, you go to the analytics, and you'll see how the posts are performing. And the ones that get the most reach and the most engagement, that's your survey data right there. That's them telling you that they want to hear more from that. So you take that particular content. First of all, you use it to inspire yourself for more content. Second of all, you can put some money behind it so you can reach new people, all right? Reach new people to target. So that's a good one. And number 7 is start building audiences. This one is obviously, I am a firm believer in being able to sell products and services to people that know who I am. I hate direct marketing to people that don't have a clue who I am. I like to build these people up. If you guys are in the direct mail industry, it's not just one campaign. you got to do it over and over and over and over again, right?
Absolutely.
So in the world of advertising, the beautiful thing about these social media platforms is they allow you to build audiences. As you run your content on Facebook organically, or on Instagram, or on YouTube, or even TikTok now, the platform is actually evolving quite fast. They're actually plagiarizing Facebook and the Business Manager. Have you seen
I've
it?
taken a peek at it, yeah.
Objectives, campaigns,
Absolutely.
ad sets, all of it. It's amazing. They're going down the same route, but you can build audiences. So if you have a good TikTok profile and you're getting reach, those people can actually be retargeted with offers. So building audiences is an essential step on this journey, because the people that actually have seen you before are more likely to convert, and your advertising money is better invested.
Absolutely.
Right? Jimmy? Okay, and then number 8 is generating leads. Start generating leads. At that point, you're building audiences, right? You have people that are seeing your content, you're interacting with them, you're building a community, and at that point, you can start generating campaigns to bring people into your world. Prospects, like that free offer that you went over, that's a great lead magnet right there. People come in and they connect with you. And now you have an email and you have a phone number, which I'd like to make sure that you guys know that you need to make sure that when you're generating prospects, you are acquiring phone numbers right now, because phone numbers are being opened at 95%. Text messages are being opened at 95%, and emails are still at a 20% range, and they're more likely not to be seen than a text message. Yep. So when you're acquiring prospects, always include the ability to capture a person's phone number and have them opt in to text message communications. So when you're providing all this value and you're going down this 9 steps over here, and now you're ready to bring them in, you're going to give them a free offer or some kind of like introductory service, or some kind of like free analysis, or something to bring them into your world. You get the phone number and you get the email, and then you got to make sure that you keep on nurturing these people and get them excited about your brand. All right. One more. Number 9, start advertising to audiences that know who you are. So here we take those email lists, we get those audiences that are consuming the content, and now we take our campaigns and we start putting them in front of them. And basically you're talking to people that already know who you are. They call that retargeting. You can call it remarketing. You're putting a message again in front of somebody that already has seen you before. And that's where the real money comes in. And that's where the real growth comes in for an organization. All right.
Excellent. Manuel, can you put up the last slide just so that we've got that on the recording? No, I think you got it. The thank you slide, basically, obviously we want to make it known how to contact us or Manuel. Obviously, we want to hear from you more. We want to see if we can help you. So please contact us. We will put this out. But most of all, I want to thank everybody in this panel. Manuel, you have a gorgeous studio here. Thank you for sharing it with us.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
for
The
having me.
knowledge is amazing, and I think that we can all learn a lot from each other. So thanks
Absolutely.
everyone on there. We had a great group of people. Most of them stuck around through the whole thing. So thank you again, and everybody have a great week.
Have a great week, all right? Get
Bye-bye.
to execute now. Time to execute.